The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League is in Hillsboro, Wisconsin for another intense round of competition. Kicking off the show are the high-speed, small-sized V8-powered mini rods. Battling in a mid-season points race showdown, the Super Farm Tractor leader Blaine Fraker holds the lead by a mere 10 points. Can the agitator hold off experienced vets Josh Miley, Peter Norton, and Nick Score from gaining on him? Get ready. All the pulling action starts now.
Tractor pulling. The ultimate test of power. Purpose-built vehicles create thousands of horsepower using turbos and superchargers, alcohol fuel, and multi-engine configurations to see who can pull the farthest. A sled weighing thousands of pounds is used to stop the pulling vehicles. A moving weight box progressively adds resistance to end the run. The sled is customized for classes ranging from customized farm tractors to multi-engine modifieds. Teams spend countless hours preparing their machines for competition. Thousands of dollars are spent traveling to events across 10 states, maximizing power and repairing broken parts. The season is long, and the competitors have to maintain focus every pull to compete for a class championship. This is Tractor Pulling with the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League.
Welcome to Hillsboro, Wisconsin. This is the Napa Pro Pulling Nationals presented by Wyotech. We're at Hillsboro Fireman's Park. Ken Stout and Leslie Mears to call the action for you, and a couple of different categories, or I should say at least one different category here that will be featured today. We look forward to all the great pulling action, but we're going to kick things off with something we've never seen, or at least other than the highlights as far as classes go. Let's talk about the mini rods. They are exciting. And Leslie, the best way I can describe this to somebody is imagine taking a supercharged V8 and putting it on the front of your lawnmower.
Yeah, this is crazy out here. 2,050 pounds is all this machine weighs. And you can see we've got Jules Rikers and Jokers Wild, and she's going to kick off the class. Oh, and she pedals it at the end.
How about a couple, 2-3 times? And that's exactly why we love this category. It's a beautiful machine. 3:02 and 49 is the distance to get things started here. A huge tire on the back of these things. 1471 blower, 45% overdriven. And these things make some steam upwards of 2,000 horsepower.
And of course, that's once they get to full song, and you can see that it was full throttle early and then pedaling at the end, perhaps maybe looking to get a little bit extra grip there at the end by taking some horsepower out of it.
All right, here's a look at the pulling order, and as you can see, Jules kicked things off, and then Max Smith, who actually competes on a couple of different tractors, will go back-to-back, so not what he was hoping for. He'd like a little bit of time in between the two so he can make some adjustments, but he's only going to have time to get back to the next one and make it happen again. And we'll continue on here talking about Max Smith because Cratch Gladys had a chance to speak with Max a little bit earlier today.
Well, guys, Mac has 2 mini rods to drive today in this event, and you've been up there at the track looking at the conditions. What are you learning? Because this is a pretty bitey track. At least it's been known in the past to be that way, and you guys are pretty lightweight. How are you going to set up for this?
Well, first of all, the scale weight is possibly a little bit light tonight, so that's some concern to have our full control out here without weight on the front. I was just telling my son here tonight, looking at that track a minute ago, this could be one of the best tracks we've been on in years. I lowered my hitch slightly, and I'm going to take off a little bit easier and watch the first couple tractors out here. But at the same token, we didn't come up here for the cheese curds. We're going to give it everything we got.
Anything different in your setup between the 2 tractors?
Yeah, slightly. Mine's set up probably a little bit stronger than the first one here, but we're going to, take this one here and see what happens and jump in that one. If we can make a few improvements between tractors, we will.
He spoke of the weight, and that's crucial. When you only weigh 2,050 pounds and you've got to throw 100 pounds off, that's huge.
This one's called the Hawkeye Hustler. His other tractor is called the Hawkeye Hemi. 290 and 54 is some 12 feet short of what he was hoping for.
And he said he was going to be a little bit more conservative with this first machine. Now he'll have just a little bit of time to make some changes to his second one, but a nice straight pass here. Check out that open rear end, and you can see just how those rear tires are just kind of bouncing back and forth as they hook and unhook to the track. We're talking about an 18.5 by 16-inch tire, and they can have no more than 10 pounds of air, but normally the competitors are running somewhere about 1.5 pounds to 3.5 pounds inside those tires. That's not a lot of pressure.
Take a look at the points coming in here after 2 pulls, and you'll see that it is Tyler Slaw holding both first and second place down, virtually tied up 92 points apiece for both tractors. And then, of course, Max Smith, who we just saw with the Hawkeye Hustler, picked up a win at Henry, our season opener for the category. Here comes Max once again, this time the Hawkeye Hemi. Oh, look at it, carry that front end perfectly. Look at the ground speed as well. Looks like a great effort. Went off to the left a bit and then to the right and goes 3:06 and 70, takes over the lead.
What a great pass here for Max Smith. And though I saw he had some failure at the end there, he's lots of fluid on the ground. And you can see as soon as this tractor gets a hold of the track, he's hooked up hard. And look, just a little bit of brake right there as he brings it back around away from that sideline, keeps it nice and in the center of the track where he feels the good grip is.
Oh yeah, plenty of blow-by out of that one as well. He definitely put it through its paces. And a beautiful effort, and it pays off as he goes to the top of the leaderboard. Plenty of great tractors left, though, in the mini rod category. Up next will be the Mini Nomo.
Kayla Klevgard coming to us here, and she's had kind of a tumultuous season, took a wild ride in Goshen. We saw her in the highlights of that show. So she's just hoping to make sure that she can keep it steady and straight down the track. Both those tires hooked up at the same time.
Oh, and the front end way up in the air. I think probably just a tick too high. Might have been unloading the rear tires. And then the slow start, I think, really cost her. She was spinning the tires. A lot of times we'll see those guys just let them eat. And eventually, whenever they do hook up, they'll get some good ground speed out of it. So not what she was hoping for, but we'll take a look at our top 3. Max Smith now bookending Jules Reichers. We'll be back with more. Stay with us.
The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League is brought to you by E3 Spark Plugs, born to burn. General Tire, anywhere is possible. And by Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance.
Once again, we welcome you back here to Hillsboro, Wisconsin, in the Napa Pro Pulling Nationals presented by WyoTech. We are covering the mini rods in its entirety for the first time here on the telecast, and these tractors are absolutely a hoot to watch. And Joe Hill, I love the name of the tractor, Psycho Fit, and he comes out and goes 282 and 63. Not enough to jump up into that top 3.
The whole shot is very important for our mini rod tractors, and just see how those back tires squat down and hook up. and he was a little slow on the throttle. You could see he walked it out of the hole before he went to full song on the track, and then just never really got the front end up. It's just dangling on the dirt. He needs it up just about 6 more inches to get that perfect displacement of weight into the rear tires.
And we say a little slow on the throttle. I mean, it's easy for us to sit up here and take a look at it, but you can't just go full throttle on them, because when they're spinning the tire like that, you'll easily overrev the power plant, could damage some parts and pieces. So it is quite a dance for these drivers to come out here and do what they do, but that's why we have a competition.
Lucas Burns, the vehicle here called Little Disaster. And here's something that's really cool about these machines as well. They go actually about 35 miles an hour, but we're talking about wheel speeds right around 150 miles an hour. That's how hard they're turning.
Boy, and the front end up and digging hard. It finally loaded those rear tires and started going somewhere. 288 and 44 will get him up into the top 5, but it was a perfect example of when we talk about the rear tires unloading. If you listen to the RPMs, when it goes very high, you'll hear those RPMs escalate as well. Right there.
And just letting it float off to the right-hand side. He'd already tapped the brake just a little bit, but wanted to leg out some more distance after he even heard that unload in there in the middle, and so just trying to stretch it out as far as possible.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is once you're out there, so you got to do the best you can do. You can see how he was squatted down in that tractor as well, with his knees way up high. And sitting much more vertically will be our next competitor, Nathan Hoffman, coming up. And this one's called Cornfused. So it looks like it's going to be tough to get out there at that 300-foot mark. A number of them now landing up in there at just short of 290.
Everyone's staying, though, pretty much in the center of the track, their chosen position here to place the sled. And, you know, I'm sure everyone's noticed at home, too, that we've got a mini version of our sled, too. This is a much smaller version, scaled-down version for these mini rod tractors to pull.
And we're seeing some tractors that we typically don't see even in this category that compete on the points tour. Up next, Drake Griffith. It's called Overdraft. And you got to love the effort of turning the steering wheel, even though that front end's not on the ground. But 307 and 15, it wasn't on the ground by design. Back tires planted, digging hard, and we have a new leader.
Starts out in the center, but then check it out, the front end way up in the air, and then it kind of sits down, and he does a great job, just a little bit of brake to bring it back over to the center off the left-hand sideline, and just lets it float over there and just lets it eat. Just a great job here by our driver.
Yeah, that was really a good effort. No question about that. So by less than 6 inches, we have a new leader, by the way. So this field and this category, very, very tight. All right, up next will be the Bobcat Jr. Driver is Barry Bohr. And a little bit earlier today, Crash Gladys spoke with him.
Well, guys, playing spoiler tonight is Barry Bohr, and he's over here all the way from the Netherlands. Why pull in the United States when you've got a great country in the Netherlands?
Yeah, it's great to pull here because you got better tractors here, and it's a different country, so you have different tracks, different people, and that's what I like about it. And we have some good friends here, and we built a Mini, we shipped it over here, and that's why we're driving here.
Okay, then why Bill Leichner and his crew? Come on, you don't want to get hooked up with that madman.
Yeah, he's a crazy old man, and that's why we like him. We has good friends with us. He has the same hobby, and he loves also tractor pulling and fun with his friends, and we loved it also. So he comes to our country. He drove our mod tractor in the Netherlands, and now I'm here to drive the Mini. He drove it 2 weeks ago in Goshen, and he did a great job at the second place.
Well, I think he did all right teaming up with the multi-time champ here in the States. And so Leichner took a win in the Netherlands, and so he's going to see if he can't help Barry get a win here at Hillsboro.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. Hats off to Barry because he can definitely drive one of these things. 317 and 38 is a huge number. More importantly, he softly worked that right brake to bring that thing back over, and he did a spectacular job in driving.
Full throttle right almost off the line, like the 50-foot mark. And look at this, how he brings it back around so artfully, and it all happens so fast. You know, that's probably the fastest run that we've seen of the night. And so it's all about getting those tires hooked up hard and fast and getting your momentum going down the track.
Takes the lead by 10 feet. That is putting it on the gang for sure. He'll jump to the top of our top 3, but we're not finished yet. We have a few more to go here in the mini rod category. Stay with us. We'll find out who's going to win it. Welcome back to the Napa Pro Pulling Nationals here, presented by WyoTech. We're in Hillsboro, Wisconsin, and Timmerman is coming up next. This is Chad Timmerman, and the tractor's called Wildfire. The mark to beat 317 and 38. Beautiful effort, and I'll tell you, this track seems to be getting better, or they're watching and learning. Either case, 305 and 34 won't be enough to get into the top 3, but safely into the top 5.
It was amazing. Watch the right hand, and you can barely see it. Right off the line, bam, full throttle. And he just stiff arms it right out there to get that speed up that he's going to need to pull the sled. Just a different driving style than we've seen from most of the other guys in the category here who are trying to walk it out of the hole a little bit. He's just getting it after it right away and just trying to get those tires to hook up to the ground immediately.
So Timmerman doing a nice job as we continue on here with the category. Up next will be Tim Stuckey. And the name of the tractor, I love this one. It certainly applies to all guys in motorsports that are married. It's called the Mistress. They often wonder about us and why we do what we do. Certainly an appropriate name. Boy, very controlled start. And I think actually maxed out, not necessarily the power plant to come out here and compete. Take a look at that. It looks like a small block to me. And keep in mind, these guys are allowed to run up to 575 cubic inches. So this is a little small block Chevy that's trying to hang with the big dogs.
And you can see he went full throttle early on. And, you know, some tracks, though, being a little bit under power is an advantage because when you are even on horsepower to weight ratio out there, it does make it very hard to control. So if you're a little under power, you can maybe hook up to the track a little bit easier than some others where those guys with a little more power maybe blow the tires off.
And you just never know. I mean, you got to come out and have some fun and take a crack at it. All right, Ross Herr will be our next competitor here. You can see them getting that thing fired up. Crash Gladys, once again, was busy earlier today, and she spoke with him.
Well, rumor on the street right now is Ross Herr is this hired gun for Bruce this weekend, but you have a mini mod. You know how to drive these things, right?
I do have one. I've been driving them for a few years now, so I think I know what I'm doing.
Why is yours not out this year, however?
I just haven't had time to put it together. Farming's been a lot more farming this year, so just haven't got around to putting it together this year yet. So I'm going to set a year out and see what happens next year.
That's a good problem to have, though. When the money-making business is doing really well, you want to keep it right there.
Yeah, that's the focus point.
Well, he says he's been driving mini rods for a few years. He's a 35-year puller with 14 years experience in the class. So we can just go ahead and call him the hired gun that he is. Look at that.
Yeah, man, that's how you get it done for sure. And a big number up on the board, 315 and 16. That's enough for second place. Beautiful job there. That thing at full song was singing.
Not the wild run that we had by Boer out here, but look at this, very textbook. Right off the line, lifts the front end, carries it, keeps it straight all the way down the track, and just nice quality effort there by the team from Michigan.
That sassy prepared power plant, that big Hemi, just making brutal horsepower as we come up to our final tractor in the category. It's called Stress Relief, and we'll find out if, in fact, Barry can hang on for the win here with 1 to go.
Should also mention Ross Hurd there driving for Tyler Slaw, who's the one that will get the points in the race here if he does end up on second on the podium in this TS Performance Silver Series event.
Yeah, Tyler has 2 tractors. We talked about him doing well on the points with both of them. Have No Mercy Red and Show No Mercy Orange. Right over there by the out-of-bounds line, but somehow keeps it in and goes 299 and 97, and that'll make Barry Bohr our winner. Very exciting class, and we're really glad we had an opportunity to cover these guys. So let's get it down to the podium and crash Gladys.
How about flying thousands of miles to come over to American soil and take the trophy away from everybody else? That's how you do it, huh?
Yeah, that's how we do it, yeah. I step in the plane, step out, make the track already, drove it on the track and win. That's a great feeling. And I'm very happy, and it's my first win here in America. And I didn't do it without the Durslinger team. They helped me very good. And Bill put the sleds in the start, and he put it to the left. I had to brake a lot, but it was a good spot to start. I make a lot of speed, and it's a big advantage that I have him with me, and he helps me a lot. And I like it, so and we did it together, so it's a team job.
Just great stuff as we take a look at our results here. Tyler Slaw gaining those points that he needed by having Ross Hurd drive for him in the Have No Mercy machine. Max Smith, though, getting up there in 4th. Drake Griffith in 3rd there as well as we head back to the podium for 2nd place.
Well, at 315 feet, Ross thought he had it. Oh, just that close.
That close, yeah. It was a nice pass, came up great, hooked great, went straight as an arrow. I couldn't ask for much more out of it.
And you got that itch taken care of.
Yeah, it did. It felt really good.
Oh, yeah, the ringer doing what he was supposed to do, and that's put it up on the podium. There's a look at the points, and you can see it is very, very tight after the first 3 events completed. Once again, let's get it back to the podium and talk to Drake Griffith.
Pulling 307 feet in 3rd place, what did it take to get you that far to separate yourself from the field?
It's all about tire pressure, weight transfer. It's all about the setup. Sometimes I'm a little underpowered compared to some of these guys, but it's just if you have the right setup and you know how to drive it, you can get up there.
Tonight you had the right one.
Yeah, it was good. It was a fun run. I enjoyed it.